Ever feel like just stepping into the office is like, walking into a war zone?
Oh, yeah.
Like you're not alone.
Yeah.
One executive even called it a covert war zone.
Right.
And he's not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
The pressure is on.
Yeah.
Teams are in constant flux.
Absolutely.
And the old rules of loyalty have totally gone out the window.
Yeah.
So today, we're diving deep into Daniel Goleman's emotional intelligence in practice
Okay.
to try to figure out what it really takes to thrive in this environment.
Right.
You know what makes Goleman's work so relevant
What's that?
is his observation that the workplace has fundamentally changed.
Yeah.
Companies aren't the stable entities they once were.
No, they're not.
Engineers form and dissolve quickly,
Yeah, and
requiring a whole new level of adaptability
it's true.
from employees.
Definitely.
You're expected to be self-reliant, yet a team player, a strategic thinker, yet agile enough to pivot at a moment's notice.
It's interesting you say that because Goleman highlights some research on children from the 80s.
Oh, wow.
You know, the generation currently running things.
Right.
Studies were already showing a deficit in emotional intelligence back then. And now these are our colleagues, our bosses.
Is that what's making this covert war zone feeling so prevalent?
Well, it's a compelling thought, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Goleman's research actually supports that connection.
Really?
Employers are finding that technical skills alone
Right.
aren't enough. They're encountering a workforce that often lacks motivation, struggles with genuine teamwork,
Right.
and even seems to lack basic self-discipline. These aren't just soft skills.
Right.
They directly impact a company's bottom line.
So we're not just talking about being nice here.
No.
We're talking about concrete skills that affect performance.
Yes.
But let's get specific.
Okay.
When we say emotional intelligence,
Yeah.
it's not just about being
Right.
happy-go-lucky all the time.
Right. Absolutely. Goleman dives into very specific skills.
Okay.
Self-awareness, managing one's emotions,
Mhm.
and accurately reading the emotions of others.
Okay.
It's about understanding how emotions impact your work and your interactions,
Yeah.
not just trying to be relentlessly cheerful.
Right. And that brings us to some fascinating research from Hay McBurr.
Okay.
Their study found that while good old-fashioned academic intelligence might get your foot in the door,
Right.
it's emotional intelligence that separates
Yeah.
the average performers from the true stars.
Right.
Have you ever noticed this in your own career?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Those colleagues who just seem to navigate challenges with a certain grace, while others get tripped up by office politics,
Yeah.
or even their own reactions.
Precisely. And this is why emotional intelligence is more important than ever.
Okay.
Think about the skills essential for success in today's workplace.
Okay.
Influence, communication, even sound decision-making.
Right.
They all hinge on understanding and navigating the emotional landscape,
Yeah.
not just relying on logic or data.
So it's not enough to just be brilliant.
Right.
You need to be emotionally intelligent to really shine.
Yes, you need both.
It makes you wonder, how does this actually play out
Right.
in a real workplace?
Well, let's look at Robert Borden.
Okay.
He was a top executive at Kodak.
Right.
And he put it this way.
Okay.
You can have mountains of data, but if you can't connect with your team, motivate them, use diplomacy when needed,
Right.
that data is useless.
Wow.
Those soft skills, that emotional intelligence,
Right.
those were the hallmarks of his top performers.
Interesting.
Not just their technical expertise.
And this wasn't just his personal observation.
Right.
Goleman's research actually put numbers to this.
Yes.
What he found about top performers is
Yeah.
pretty astounding.
It's mind-blowing, really.
Yeah.
We're not talking about a slight edge here.
Right.
Goleman found that the top 1% of performers,
those with high emotional intelligence consistently brought in 127%.
Wow.
More value to their companies than average performers.
Really?
And remember, this wasn't limited to CEOs or specific industries.
Okay.
This trend held true across the board.
127%. That's a staggering figure.
Yeah.
It really highlights the potential impact of emotional intelligence
Absolutely.
on individual and organizational success.
That's true.
But let's flip the script for a moment.
Okay.
What about when things go wrong?
Yeah.
Goleman dedicates a whole section to these cautionary tales
Yes.
of brilliant minds, successful executives who completely derailed their careers.
It's true.
It's almost hard to read, you know?
Yeah.
Like watching a train wreck in slow motion.
It is fascinating, isn't it?
It is, and often these downfalls weren't about bad decisions or a lack of intelligence.
Interesting.
The common thread Goleman found was an inability to manage their own emotions.
Oh, wow.
This manifested in how they treated others, creating toxic work environments, burning bridges, ultimately sabotaging their own success.
It's like that story Goleman tells about the executive in the middle of a huge presentation.
Oh, right.
He gets a call about his divorce and just completely melts down in front of everyone.
Oh, yeah.
We've all had those worst-case scenario moments where emotions run high.
Totally.
But imagine the impact when it's your boss.
Oh, yeah.
The leader of the company.
And that's exactly what the research bears out.
Really?
When managers can't regulate their own emotions, it creates a ripple effect. Yeah.
Leading to stressed out, less productive teams.
Right.
This isn't about being nice for the sake of it.
Right.
It's about recognizing that everyone's emotions, especially the leaders, impact the entire workplace ecosystem.
So how do we take all of this?
That's the question, isn't it?
These fascinating insights, these cautionary tales,
and
actually apply them to our own careers.
Right.
It's easy to get caught up in the research, but what are the concrete steps we can take?
Well, I think it starts with self-awareness.
Okay.
You have to be willing to honestly assess your strengths and weaknesses, your tendencies under pressure.
Okay.
Do you shut down during conflict?
Right.
Do you bulldoze over others when stressed?
Yeah.
Recognizing these patterns is the first step toward managing them effectively. Self-awareness is definitely key.
Absolutely.
And it's not always easy to be objective about our own behavior.
No, it's not.
This is where seeking feedback becomes crucial.
Absolutely. Even the stars in Goleman's research, those top performers didn't get there by resting on their laurels. They actively sought feedback, wanting to understand how they were perceived, and identifying areas for growth. Even in their areas of strength.
It's like that old saying,
what's that?
Feedback is a gift.
Oh, yeah.
Even when it's hard to unwrap.
Right.
But beyond self-awareness and seeking feedback, what other practical steps can listeners take to cultivate their emotional intelligence?
Well, I think building strong relationships is crucial.
Okay.
And I don't just mean networking or schmoozing. I'm talking about fostering genuine connection and support within your workplace.
Okay.
These relationships are your lifeline in that covert war zone we talked about.
Great.
Helping you navigate challenges, manage stress, and weather those inevitable storms.
It's interesting how Goleman highlights the importance of connection.
Yeah.
Especially in a work culture that often feels transactional. We're so focused on productivity and hitting targets that we forget the human element.
It's about finding that balance.
Yeah.
Emotional intelligence isn't about replacing drive or ambition.
Right.
It's about understanding how emotions impact our work.
Right.
And using that knowledge to our advantage.
Okay.
It's about leading with both head and heart, so to speak.
This has been incredibly insightful.
Okay.
As we wrap up our deep dive into Goleman's work. What's one key takeaway you want to leave our listener with?
Remember those top performers, the ones bringing in 127% more value?
Yeah.
Their secret weapon wasn't just raw intellect or technical skills.
Yeah.
It was their mastery of emotional intelligence.
Right.
And the good news is it's a skill you can develop.
That's great.
Start with small steps.
Okay.
The next time you're in a stressful meeting, take a moment to observe your own emotions.
Okay.
How are you feeling?
Right.
How is that impacting your behavior? That tiny pause, that moment of self-awareness can be a game changer.
It's about taking control of your own emotional narrative instead of letting it control you.
Exactly.
It's about making intentional choices rather than reacting impulsively.
Yes.
And it all starts with that willingness to look inward, to understand ourselves better so we can show up as our best selves.
Absolutely.
Both professionally and personally.
Exactly. And remember, emotional intelligence is a journey, not a destination.
That's a good point.
There will be bumps along the way, moments where you revert to old habits.
Right.
But the key is to keep learning, keep growing, and keep striving to connect with those around you with authenticity and empathy.
What a powerful message to end on.
Thanks.
So to our listener, as you navigate your own career journey, remember the power of emotional intelligence.
It's important.
It's an investment worth making. It's the secret sauce that can elevate your performance, strengthen your relationships, and help you thrive in even the most demanding work environments.
Well said.